Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So carrying on with the quick vids for the Flysky ST16. This time we're going to be looking at our next menu, which is the servo rotate, and this one quite nicely follows on logically from our last one, the servo reverse, because you want to set your servo direction first, then we want to go into the servo rotate. And this one is where we'll find your endpoints and also your subtrim. So what you'd do is you'd set your servo direction in the servo reverse first, then you'd come in here, and then what we're going to be looking for is when we put our throttle fully on and fully off, if it's an electronic speed controller that you're using in any vehicle, you want these set to 100. And then run calibration on your ESC, so your ESC knows exactly what 100% throttle and 100% brake or 100% travel in either direction is. Subtrim for the normal ESC I would leave to 0. Now this would be different if you've got a servo and you're using a nitro RC or an internal combustion engine, petrol engine. In that case, what we'd do is you'd set your travel so your 100% is not forcing your carb further than it should. So for that, you'd come in and you'd just bring this down slightly. If your full throttle is telling your servo to go that far, it's pushing against the carb, you'd bring this down to stop that. You can also increase up if the travel's not far enough. And then again, for your braking on an electronic ESC, I'd leave that 100%. For a mechanical sort of RC, so anything with a carburetor, you want to basically, on this, it'll be usually your carb closing and brake if it's a land RC. So you want to set this so as you go 100% brake, it's not trying to force the servo past where it can cope with the brake. So on this, you'd go in and you'd turn the brake point down until 100% travel on your actual stick is not trying to overwork the servo. Also on this one, it's where you'd set your subtrim. Now your subtrim, that's going to be the thing that you'd set before anything else on here, because it's basically your center point. So for this, to get your throttle servo or anything else set, what you're using off your throttle stick, to get it to be absolute 100% certain, so it's centered, we're going to go on here and you're going to move this until your servo is perfectly centered. Likewise with your steering, you'd go on here and you would set that so the RC is tracking perfectly straight, and you might need a bit of an offset to do this. So set this up. Once this is set on your steering, then you'd go in and you'd go left, and we'd go on that, and then you'd bring this down till your servo is not straining anymore, so you're getting full left turn on the RC but you're not stressing the servo. Then you'd move over, you'd do the positive, so we'd set that so it's not straining anymore, and between these three settings you should have it so your servo is perfectly straight and it's not overstressing when you turn either direction. Don't worry if these numbers aren't exactly the same. It's very rare to get them exact, but you don't want them miles off. They should be somewhere close so the travel feels the same either direction. And as for this one, don't worry about that. It depends all on your servo arm and your servo horn head. Depends how far off this will be. It's quite common for you to put a servo on, and when it's centered it looks like that on the servo. And moving this, all that'll let you do is make the center point so your servo arm's straight, or your RC may require a slight offset to be perfectly straight, and so it drives straight, and that's what this will let you do. It will let you move this to get it perfectly straight. And then what you should notice is when you back out on your actual trim, so as trim for steering, if you look at as trim, you will be able to use your sub trim to make sure that this trim is on 0. And then if you have a bit of a bump or an accident in RC and you have to then add trim to correct it, you know you've bent something on the RC. But yeah, setting the sub trim will let you have the actual trim on 0. And that's same on the throttle too. So you'll not have to have this actual trim moved because you're using your sub trim on the previous menu to be perfectly straight. And that's where we'd set this to get the actual servo starting points where it should be from the get-go. So for this, because I've not got it set up yet, I'm going to move these back to 0 and 100. And then when I start setting the RC up, I've got these what I can play around with. But that is the servo rotate menu. So it just give you a good heads up and an idea of what that menu does, what its functionality is for. And yeah, it's shaping up to be quite a nice little transmitter, this. Everything so far seems to be pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to get to. As I say on this one, I do like the way it's sort of set out logically. So you'd set your servo reverse, then you'd come in and set your servo rotate, you'd set your sub trim, and then you'd set your endpoints. Because this is more aimed as a flight receiver, this sub trim is usually on a separate menu on the ground transmitters, and the servo rotate menu would be a separate one with endpoints, or it'd be called EPA, something like that. But on this transmitter, this is where it is. So you've still got the functionality of endpoints and sub trim. It's just under a slightly different naming convention. I do find it really strange why flight and ground transmitters are so different. There's not really any need for it, but it's just how it is. It's how it's been for years. But yeah, that's the servo rotate menu. So thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.